This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another episode of the Draft Room. I am joined with my co-host, my only co-host of the Draft Room, because football's over. So for this I guess you could say this season of the Draft Room, it's just you and me the rest of the way. Bud, how we doing, Dave?
I'm locked in, to be honest with you. I am loving basketball right now. I mean, we get playoff bangers every single day. And draft news, it's all conspiracies. It's all, this backroom chatter about which scout from which team is leaking information and like who likes who. It's the best time of year.
We're about almost a month away. The draft takes place June 26th and 27th. Boo that it's
yes,
not one
2
night.
nights. Which does that mean?
I prefer it to be one night.
Are we going back-to-back draft day coverage?
We are.
We are.
We have to.
We do.
We did the same for the NFL, but it's just like, here's the thing. The NFL draft, I get it. There's 7 rounds. The NBA draft,
let's be honest. For all of the years to do 2 nights for the draft, let's go with what has been heralded as the worst draft in potentially the last 25 years.
I'm going to say this. I'm on the point of the Anthony Bennett draft may end up being better than this draft. And when we look at like the history and like how this draft is all, because at least there were some stars in that draft. Giannis came from that draft.
Yeah. I think it was Giannis, Gobert, Victor unfortunately had injuries that hampered his career, but he was an all-star, all-NBA talent.
The ultimate superstar.
The ultimate superstar.
Drafted by the Kings that year. Fast Break's favorite draftee.
Papa John's.
Papa Giannis, baby. Papa Giannis. We heard his name and all 3 of us went a collective what?
Yeah, that was a moment. That was a moment in draft history. Just confusion, mass confusion rolling over.
Very much.
Of all the years to decide that we're gonna break out to two days because we like the idea of more trades. Mm-hmm. I believe there's already only 2 teams who own their 2nd round pick this year.
Yep.
Which is wild.
Mm-hmm.
The amount in how far out ahead of things people have been trading, and these valuable
draft picks.
These previously not so valued picks are now extremely valuable because of what has happened with contracts, the CBA, and the what is it called? The tiers or whatever it is of like going overage, and contract and salary luxury tax tiers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. There's just a lot of value now in 2nd rounders, and I get it. Put the emphasis on the players. This is great. We get these guys spotlight time. No more Taco Bell commercial. Nikola Jokic drafts. But this year is just not the. It's an unfortunate timing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
For
also, Dave, since we're talking basketball, before we get into housekeeping everything, it came out this week that apparently the NBA and NBC are like this close, and next year will be the last year of Inside the NBA on TNT. Yep. I know a lot of people are sad about it. I know Jake is sad about it because he said it's the best basketball show that talks about basketball. I am going to make some people angry here. I don't care. We get the theme back. I want the NBA back on NBC like it was in my childhood.
I was listening to Dan Le Batard show, and they had John Tesh on.
Yeah. The composer.
The composer, the guy. And it was fun because I'd never heard the story before of apparently he left himself a voicemail of the theme that became the NBA theme. And I love it. And then he's just the way he talks about it and everything. And then he not so subtly drops nothing's been signed officially yet, but there might be an orchestra getting together for an event very soon in this city, where I'll be there and I'll make sure it sounds great because the original one, it's been a lot of years. We could really so we're updating. Like, no, we're just refining.
Yeah, we're recording a new version of it so that it sounds
gonna get goosebumps. We're gonna get like Dolby Cinema quality. Like, oh my god,
it's gonna, dude. I know the kids say it. It's gonna hit like crack. It's gonna hit like crack.
Yes, it will. And I love the fact that Levitard, of course, had to ask him, like, so we're going to get the version with lyrics this time, too? If you haven't seen it, go watch SNL, Ron Ball Rock. It's an all-timer.
It's got that's the one with Vince Vaughn.
Yes.
Vince Vaughn's in that one as one of the execs. But, Dave, we got draft to talk about. Before we get into everything, though, housekeeping as usual. If you want to check out the Discord, greatest community in the universe, MVP Discord's down below. Patrons down below. You can go ahead and support us on Patreon. Our socials are down there. Let's see, what else is down there? BETUS, you'll hear about them later. Sign-up bonus is down in the description. You can hit that like button. I hear this, as Tim called it, the algae rhythm. This weird algae rhythm loves the like button. The sub button's for us. The like button is for the algorithm.
You might get, if you click on some links, there might be this thing called Patreon. And on that Patreon, there might be a mock draft up early and, some early insights into where my brain is thinking, maybe where Ricky's brain is thinking, so I'm just, it might be worth your time. Take a peek.
$5. That's all you need for it. It's just the basic level for it.
Plus Discord.
And plus the Discord as well. Plus you get a ton of other perks besides the mock draft. Like watching us live. Patrons can watch every podcast live. Also, leave a comment down below for anything we talk about today. And Dave, we're talking about point guards. Point guards in the NBA draft. This kind of sparked because we were sitting here and you were kind of rambling about the point guards, and you kind of asked yourself the question that I'm going to ask you, and you were going to get a lot of questions. So you asked a lot of questions. You then eventually settled on this question. Mm-hmm. You went to answer this question, mentioned about 5 different guys, but never gave me an exact answer. Right. And before you could, I'm like, stop, I'm going to ask you it now. And now we are at the point where I'm asking you now, who's the best point guard in the 2024 NBA draft?
What makes a point guard? I mean, can I answer who's the best point guard if we don't really define what a point guard does for you? Because I feel like each one of these guys has something that makes them shine.
Back in the day, it was who facilitates better,
who passes the ball. That's all your
job is, to pass the ball.
But now it's not even just passing the ball. Now it's how well do you pass? How well do you set up your teammates for those opportunities to score? Are you a better full court passer? Are you a better half court passer? Can you do both? Are you someone who creates by driving downhill? Do you create offensive gravity because of your amazing shooting on the outside? Mm-hmm. I've just described 4 different guys and you don't even know it. That's the whole thing. There's so much to the point guard role in the modern NBA where I think a lot of these guys have something that makes them stand out, but that won't always be enough for them. But also, unless they're in the right situation, doesn't even matter. We'll even have the opportunity to thrive because, you could say you could stick Giannis on any team in the NBA and he'd be the same guy. I don't think that would be true. I think if you take a 19-year-old Giannis and you put him down in Dallas or the Magic or the Wizards or the Hornets or the Clippers or the Kings, you're going to get 5 different answers of what Giannis would be. The environment around you, the coaching staff, the support team, all that's different everywhere you go. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you got to hit that perfect marriage of the player wants it, the team wants it, you're set up for success all together, and you get that investment together. So I feel like you can't answer best point guard in the class unless you answer where those guys will succeed at.
So
I'm not going to answer your question.
I'm going to go back to the question. If you wanted a point guard and you wanted to take said best point guard, this is where it falls into, in your mind, Dave, what skills does a best point guard need to have?
Modern point guard, number 1 is create opportunities for your teammates. Mm-hmm. As far as ranking, what do you do for me? Because on the opposite end, what doesn't matter to me? A whole bunch. You've got little things down there. But at the same time, what do you need at the top? And I think if you watch these playoffs this year, especially, one of the biggest things out there is positional size. Mm-hmm. So I value size of the position after creation because I think creating for others, creating for yourself, size, and then floor spacing. Somewhere in there after that is defense. Now, point guard is most often, the spot where you can get away with not playing a bunch of defense. Mm-hmm. And boy, howdy, does Rob Dillingham really exemplify that in this year's draft class, because that man does not give a flying about defense, or at least he didn't in college. Could he in the NBA? Absolutely. He also weighs less than I do, though, right now, which is a bit of a concern.
Is he Zach
Granted,
LaVine?
he is much faster.
Is he Zach LaVine? Just don't tell his coach. Maybe he wants to try, but he'll only try for the Olympics.
Man, that is... We just had to take the knife and twist it there.
Maybe he's only going to try when he's playing on the national stage, Dave.
Or in a different team. You know, that's going to hurt when we move on from him, and he decides that, like, hey, now it's worth my time to try on defense, and everyone in Chicago will hate you for it.
For Dillingham, Calipari was just not worth the defense.
There's a chance that, you know, it was a situational thing where he knew where his money was coming from, and it was his ability to knock down shots, create shots, and he just lived by that in college, and he didn't have to play a lick of defense because Kentucky played a lot of zone. Reed Sheppard was there to cover passing lanes and just pick off stuff, and you had guys behind you who were pretty good rim protectors. So, and you got Yenso. Like they had a good system to support that, and I think in the NBA you see a lot of the same. You know, you see a lot of point guards who, because they have a big behind them, defense isn't necessarily the best thing. But you see a team commit to it, and you got the Timberwolves, and you got an identity now. And that is kind of the, like, when everything clicks together, you love that.
Well, it's also, too, and this kind of goes back to your first point, and I'm going to bounce back to it. I love how people are probably sitting there like, give us a name!
No, I refuse. That's the joy of Dave. I
haven't even asked you for a name. I'm going back to, like, your first point. Is so you said, like, it depends on the team
100%, because go ahead.
The reason it depends on the team is you've got teams like the Warriors where, and yet again, the Warriors kind of on the downcline. We're going to see, like, their dynasty may be wrapping up, but in the heyday of their dynasty, their best player was their point guard.
Yeah.
However, you look at teams now, like you mentioned the Timberwolves, I'd throw in there. You look at the Boston Celtics, I would throw in there. You look at, I'm thinking off the top of my head, not the Pacers, Hallie's, like Celtics and T-Wolves for sure. Their point guard isn't their best player. Their point guard isn't even their top 2 player.
Yeah. Well, some would argue
Nas
Derek
Reed
White has been... Well, okay. The Nas Reed.
We're talking about the Timberwolves.
Shout out Sean Anderson for Nas Reed.
Because it's Tatum and Brown. Those are the 2 guys.
But is it Tatum and Brown, or is it Brown and Tatum? I mean, where's Derek White coming in and all this? Because Derek White's kind of been killing it. Derek White's kind of been killing it, and we all know it. Drew Holiday.
But like Drew Holiday is expected, like, yet again, different player. He plays defense. He'll then shoot some threes. He's there to be like the like, hey.
He used to be a point guard. Like, you know, he was a point guard on the Bucks. He was a point guard on the Pelicans. You know,
like, you could say the same thing about Mike Conley. I'm there to play defense, shoot some threes, give you 10 points. Who
a lot of people rhyme and or not rhyme, but a lot of people look at Reed Sheppard and go, why can't he do that? Why are we capping Reed Sheppard and saying he can't be, you know, a successful starting point guard on a team when you have a situation like Mike Conley, who is thriving in the playoffs at a pretty old age, let's be honest. He's in his mid-30s. Reed Sheppard is one of the best shooters in college. Reed's passing lanes on defense. Yeah, he's not the lockdown one-on-one defender because he's a little limited going laterally. So I don't know why I said slatterally, but laterally.
But then you also have teams like the Cavaliers, the Knicks. I'm going to throw Portland in here, even though they're young. The Thunder, the Jazz, the Kings. Who else could I throw into this basket? Not the Hawks. I would put DeJounte Murray. But like the teams I just mentioned, their point guard is their best player. Donovan Mitchell, Brunson, Shea. You've got for the Jazz, it's
it's Lauri Markkanen.
Well, sorry, you're right, Lauri, but it's like
he's likely to be traded, or potentially traded.
Colin Sexton, he was playing point guard for them. Was he not?
They had about 4 guys.
It was
they
him
had 4
and
guys
Jordan
playing
Clarkson.
point guard.
But like Scoot's supposed to be the guy with.
He's supposed to be. He ended the year well. He had a really rough start, which is kind of common for point.
And that's why I throw it in there. He's supposed to be. That's why it's. And then De'Aaron Fox with the Kings, if I didn't mention that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people would say Sabonis played better than him this year, but Fox had a fantastic year. 1-2 combo for sure. So I think it's one of those things where you get in the right place. A really good point guard can carry your franchise. You can't get very far without a point guard, though, as it turns out. Chicago Bulls can tell you that. Orlando Magic can tell you that. teams who don't have a point guard, very hard to get that offensive identity rolling when you don't have someone consistently distributing, running the offense, running sets, getting guys open looks. All those things matter so much, especially when the game slows down in the playoffs.
Grizzlies also, John Morant.
I mean, this year they had the injury plague times a billion, but yeah, they're going to be scary next year if they get a center.
And then there's like other teams where the Sixers I would throw in here and the Nuggets, where their point guard is their second best player. You got Joe and
some would say their point guard is their center, but yes.
Joe and Nikola are the best players. Murray and Maxey right behind them.
Correct. Yeah. And I mean, they're all-star caliber. Like that's just such a luxury that they've got. So the importance of a point guard, and the team we've danced around haven't mentioned, is amazing. Is the Dallas Mavericks, who have 2 point guards, who are both fantastic.
I don't know, dude.
Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. I mean, can we just talk about the fact that
if I had to pick, Kyrie's the point guard and Luka's just the best player.
I think they're both. They are both point guards, and they trade roles depending on the game and the way the teams play them. That is what makes them special. Kyrie has gone from one series where he was entirely being keyed in by the opposing team, so he went into more of a facilitator role for them, and he was looking to get other guys, just really emphasizing how much can I make sure other guys can score while I'm drawing the defensive attention. In this series, he's had he rattled off a scoring streak and just let them know, oh, I'm here, by the way. Like, you can't just ignore me kind of thing. So
also, he's undefeated in closeout games.
Oh, he is. People forgot how good Kyrie can be. I don't care what he says off the court. I'm not putting that in this conversation today. We are just strictly hashtag on the court.
He's not as out there.
He hasn't said much, thankfully. Let's just keep it to that. Okay, let's find some wood to knock on.
I will say, I had this conversation with some buddies the other day.
Sure.
Not gonna go out on that limb here, like you said, on the court.
Yep.
But I do have a conspiracy theory about Kyrie. I do have one that I feel like, and this is all I'm gonna say about it. I feel like he might have been targeted by the NBA. Hi, everybody. Just want to take a quick moment out of today's podcast to tell you about our sponsor for today, BETUS, a sports book that has it all, whether it's basketball, hockey, football, soccer, whatever you like to bet on, BETUS has you covered. And they are offering our viewers and listeners today a 125% sign-up bonus just for using our link down below in the description. So go ahead, use that link down below and get your 125% sign-up bonus, BETUS. And now, let's get back to the podcast.
Oh my God.
Might have been targeted.
Let's move on. I don't even want it.
To some Kyrie, to where maybe he wasn't believing everything that he did. But on the court, I'll ask you this: who's your favorite point guard in the draft? Then, since you won't give me who's the best,
my favorite point guard in the draft class is
who's
Nikola
the one
Topic.
you like the best?
It's Nikola Topic.
Yeah.
He is to be a lazy comp. He gives you a lot of the vibes from what Josh Giddey was able to do coming into the draft class. You got someone who is like an oversized point guard who can drive downhill.
Does Topic card though?
Is Topic what?
Does he card though?
Oh well, news is in. Giddey is not guilty.
No, I'm not saying he's guilty, but got a
no,
card.
But he's not guilty.
Got a card, bro.
He did card apparently. Then there was a fake ID.
I'm joking.
So again, as much as he got for that, some of it warranted, but at the end of the day, he didn't actually do anything wrong because he didn't know. It was ignorance. Yeah. How much of that is willful ignorance? I don't know. I'm not there. Who could say? But the point is, from point guard position, they both go downhill. They both have great vision, and they both are excellent passers. Topic finishes better at the rim. A lot of people gave him garbage about, his shot, his lack of a first step. Defensively, he's got a lot of question marks. It doesn't, if you watch him play, the freedom that he can get the ball and go downhill, and then instantly the whole court is open. The man has 6 eyes. He's got, vision everywhere on the court, and he's always looking to make the pass that makes the most sense. And I really respect the fact that he's not someone who is going to take bad shots for you because he always thinks there's a better shot. It's kind of like you remember the Rondo that would just make everyone frustrated when you watch Rondo drive to the rim and have an open layup, and then you watch him whip it sideways across the court for a 3-point look because just take the free points, man. He's like, yeah, but but there's 3 points over there, and I know him in the corner is like a 55% shooter, and like he'll math it out to you when like no one's within 6 feet because he's Rondo, and like he's a basketball sicko like that. I love him for it, but it's that kind of like I get those kind of similar vibes from watching Nikola Topic, the way he tries to get his teammates the best looks, and he's never really out for himself. He can get points. He can get, it for himself. The biggest question mark with him, obviously, outside of his defense, is his outside shooting. This year took a step back. Previously, it was pretty good. You watch him at some competitions. It's not terrible, but it just didn't go in a bunch this year from three. Great free throw shooter, which is the best indicator we have, though, for what makes a good three-point shooter. So I'm not writing off his three-point shot. I don't think he's going to get like the Giddey treatment where people just ignore him off ball. I don't think that's going to be him, mostly because he's not going to play on a team with two other point guards, probably. Yeah. I think that's kind of killing Josh Giddey this year. But as you can see, when you can't shoot, you're not very important. That's just the NBA.
There are two guys that I don't know if they... Okay. I don't know if they will end up being the best point guard from the draft, but there are two guys that I think I've solidified right now in my mind that I like equally. Yeah. And one of them is projected to be a top 3 pick. Okay. I do like Reed Sheppard based on everything he brings to a team. Sure. To where it's like, defensively, I've heard that like, okay, he's not like an elite defender, but he's not a wet paper bag out there. Correct. His 3-point shooting, that just like it's an anomaly. It's the best thing. Like, oh, you see what the Warriors did with Steph Curry, just taking one of the best shooters. I'm not saying that he will be Steph Curry, but yeah, somebody who is the best shooter in college and the best 3-point shooter in college, that's going to translate very nicely to the NBA. When you shoot 50% on over 4 threes a game. Yeah. He was averaging 4.4, made 2.3 of them for 52.1%. Yeah, okay, 52. I'm sorry. I was off. But the point is still, that is a ridiculous number. Making half of your 3-pointers. Yeah. What do you think? And again, I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to very quickly just ask you, then look it up. What do you think Steph Curry's best 3-point percentage of his career was? Like, what do you think 44? The percentage was in his best season? Maybe 44. So you're saying 44%. If my tablet would load, I don't genuinely know. You say what you're gonna say. I'll look it up and find it. But yeah, I think it's like we all expect drop off. Like that number is absurd. It's an anomaly. It's college basketball. It's only a 30-game sample. Like all these things are true, but even if you expect a 10% drop off when you hit the NBA, which is absurd, which is something that you don't ever see, we're still talking about an above 40% shooter from the outside, one of the better passers in the draft class, one of the smarter players in the draft class, someone who reads passing lanes extremely well, uses his athleticism that he does have to block shots, create steals, create those opportunities for his team and fast breaks. So like, there's a lot of things to like about Reed Sheppard for as much garbage as he gets about like, yeah, he can't move well side to side. So 1-on-1 at 6'1 3/4, he is going to get picked on. They are going to switch on him pretty often. He is going to have to fight through a bunch of screens. Otherwise, like there's just so many things that on the defensive side, yes, there are question marks. Is he going to get the Caitlin Clark treatment in the WNBA where they're just clotheslining him? I mean, probably. Let's be honest. I expect like one hard screen set per game against him, like just blindside, But if you can shoot it that well, you're going to find minutes in the NBA. I don't care. Steph Curry, by the way, 2011-2012 season, he shot 45.5 from 3. Was the best of his and his second year in the league. So here's the thing. 2011-2012, 45.5. 2015-2016, 45.4. 2012-2013, 45.3. I mean, it's just 3 seasons of 45% from beyond the arc, averaging. Let's see, he averaged about 5 threes per game the first one, 11 threes per game the second one, 7 threes per game the third one. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. Steph Curry's the GOAT of shooting. I mean, Kevin Durant up there, but like Steph Curry, just what? Well, of 3-point shooting for sure. Like, there's a reason why we've dubbed him the best shooter of all time. But like the other guy that I really like that I don't think gets the love that he deserves is Jared McClain out of Duke or McCain out of Duke. Wanted to give him that McClain treatment because McClain's just a cooler name than McCain. But
is that Die Hard?
Yet again, yeah, I think it might be Die Hard. Yet again, a guy who is averaging 6 attempts from 3 in college was making 41% of them. Yeah, that to me alone is like, now the thing with McCain that's going to be weird. Defense isn't great. He's not a guy that was known for assisting. He was more scoring. But like, to me, if a team's like, dude, we just need you to go out there and get a bucket, get some scoring, and yet again, 3-point shooting kind of runs the league right now. That's kind of what I look to. I just look for the best 3-point shooters.
That's fair. And I think McCain is a legit 3-level shooter. I think he can score from the outside, get to the mid range, and attack the hoop. So like, I think all three, he's a plus in. And yeah, you're right. At Duke, there was definitely a different role for him. He was playing alongside Tyrese Proctor for part of the year when Proctor was healthy. He was not their primary point guard. So the assist numbers are what they are. You know, they ran kind of a different offense too, trying to use Phil
running the ball through him all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think if he was in a highlighted role, there could be a different situation where he's maybe seeing a little higher. So you might be getting value here. But you're right. Like, he could come in the league and play like a 6-man role today. Similar to maybe a Clarkson. Is that what you're seeing? Like, he's someone who can kind of thrive in that role, and then there's like growth upside for him in the future.
I almost think, and this is going to sound lazy, same role that he had at Duke. You have your superstar, you have your leading scorer, the guy who the offense runs through. He's more of that, like, Drew Holiday. I almost said Justin Holiday. Drew Holiday or that Mike Conley, to where it's like, I'm an option scoring. The only thing that he doesn't have that the other two have is defense. The defense for Conley and Drew Holiday is leaps and bounds better than what you're going to get out of McCain.
Fair, but I mean, it's not like he can't try. You know, there's always a thing with defense is so much effort these days. Yeah, I think McCain's up there. But yeah, I see him as that spark plug off the bench kind of guy. Not that he can't be a starting guard for a team, but he's got a long way to go if he wants to be a point guard, just because we haven't seen him in that role typically. But I think that, like, if you're looking at shooters in this class, like, he is one of the top for sure. He's just got a great shot, and he's super confident with pull-ups. So I like it. I think personally, someone who on my end I don't hear enough love for is starting to grow though. Devin Carter. Devin Carter's been locked in this like weird, like probably 14 through 25 range for the last 2 months, maybe longer. But like, I'm starting to get confused on like, why are we putting him in that range, and why is he notably worse off than someone prospect wise who's mocked in that lottery, especially in the top half of the lottery? Like, where is it the age thing? Is that the only thing? Because I genuinely am watching him play and I'm like, this guy is like 100% hustle, crazy good rebounder for his size, for his position, which always, I mean, okay, do we fall in love with Josh Hart during the playoffs? Maybe a little too much. Maybe. Do I love shorter guys who can go out there, grab rebounds? But hey, he's got a crazy good wingspan for his position. He's not the tallest. Like, I was cracking up reading someone's comments like, if Devin Carter was like 6'7", he'd be the number 1 pick in this draft class. It wouldn't be close.
Yeah,
probably true. Probably, but he's a good shooter. He's a good defender. He's probably a way better than good defender. He's a great defender. We'll say that because he's got a good wingspan. Great hustle, great effort. I think his shot's decent enough. I know he shot like 38% from 3 this year, 6 attempts, which is pretty good. Pretty great in college, but like, he's an upperclassman, so you do have to whatever. But again, Providence was that team where, oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. There was another prospect on the team who was the reason I had started watching them. This year. He was on the team. He got hurt. He was a former like Kentucky transfer or Duke transfer. He's He's like 6'7", and he got hurt like right at the beginning of the year. And I was like, that sucks. But then you start watching, like, that Devin Carter guy's kind of taken off. He is taking the reins and run with him. And that team was playing around really well. So shoot is gonna kill me.
I'm pulling up the roster.
Yeah, he's 6'7". He's like a shooting guard. Lived in the paint though. He played like a power forward. But yeah, whatever. Devin Carter is dope. Measurable wise, he's got great, like I said, great wingspan, great defense, great hustle, good shooter, good ball handler. Like, I feel like he's one of those guys where I get that he's a little older, but I don't think that's a bad thing in a class where we have so many unknowns. I get like Rob Dillingham's got this shot making thing, but like if he can't stay on the floor defensively, how much value is that? And I'm watching the playoffs and I'm just seeing the value of defense left in like Bryce Hopkins. Thank you so much.
After I read his name, I'm like, I should have known that off the top of my head because
I should have known that.
Well, because it was either this year or last year, everybody was betting on Bryce Hopkins.
Yes.
Rebounds.
Yeah. He's a double machine in college. So yeah, I think Devin Carter should probably be looked at as like the third best guard in his class. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, what do you value? I think his toughness, his shot making, his handle is good enough. He's got room to grow still. I don't think people stop getting good at 22. I think that's the people got to get over that. Like that is such an old way of thinking and looking at prospects where if they're not, younger than 20, then they can't grow magically. So I think he's someone who I personally have in my top 10, and I would love to see him get drafted at higher up because I think it's crazy that like he's 22 and I think I've seen him mocked. I think literally the highest I've seen him is 13 to the Kings. And I love that for them because he's basically just a better version of Davion Mitchell. They took out of Baylor, who had similar, but he was a smaller player. He
was a top 10 pick, was he not?
He was. Okay. I believe he went, I think it was like 8th or something like that, maybe 9th. But a couple years ago, his defense is great, but offensively, he didn't have enough there, and he's smaller. So Devin Carter gives you bigger player, better positional size, probably a better defender, and better scorer. So I think there's a lot there where like they had issues because of that. So I think that he's top 10 value in this draft class of unknowns and reaches, and we're drafting these raw wings over him because upside of size.
You said unknowns and reaches, and there's one guy that I do like.
Yeah.
Tyler Kolek. But here's the question I want to ask about him because I'm sitting here thinking Tyler Kolek, let's be honest, will probably, I'm thinking, go between 20 and 30, like in that range.
There's a good bet, yeah.
Yep. Here's how I'm going to phrase this question. I'm going to put two guys that went in that range.
Sure.
But I'm also going to ask you about a guy that went a little bit higher because there's always a chance, let's say a team takes him.
Yeah.
Tyler Kolek at the next level. Is he going to be the guy, not on terms of how these players play, but based on where they were drafted and then what they eventually turned into? Will he be like Derek White, taken at the end of the first, serviceable player, finds a role, is just an ultimate role player for a team, and now is like, hey, whatever the Celtics need, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, you need me to assist the ball in game one? You need me to shoot threes? Whatever we need, I'm going to do. Or will he be a DeJounte Murray? Oh, he's a diamond in the rough. He turns into a star out of nowhere. Or will he be like a Drew Holiday taken in the mid-teens and is basically like, oh, he's going to be a good player for a team in the mid-teens?
Okay. I need one thing looked up before I answer.
Go ahead.
Find me Tyler Kolek's wingspan from the draft combine. Because the one common narrative between all those players that you mentioned.
Tankathon has 6'2" and 3/4. I will find you the NBA combine. Yeah, 6'2" and 3/4.
Wingspan, NBA the wingspan combine.
The wingspan.
Yeah, that's I love the draft combine for this reason. No. Kolek. So Yeah, his wingspan. Yeah, he's 6'1", 2'5" height and 6'2", 7'5" wingspan.
Mm-hmm.
So that limits him heavily. The three guys you mentioned have go gadget arms.
Yeah.
DeJounte Murray has like a 6'11" wingspan.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could be wrong about all three, but I'm pretty sure all of them are over 6'7" wingspans. Pretty confidently about that pit. So no, there's a hard cap on how good you can be with his size and his limited wingspan. That's part of the reason I like Devin Carter. Devin Carter's got a crazy good wingspan for his height. That allows him to.
So he won't be able to be even like a Derek White type player of like, hey, we drafted him in the end of the first, and he's just turned into a solid pro.
You could. I think if you're just saying career wise, he could be a solid pro. Yes, I think he can be a solid pro. He gives me like he is your he's a solid backup point guard in the NBA. He kind of gives me which Jones is in Washington right now. Tyus, I think.
Could be Tyus or Trey. One of the
Trey
two.
is still in San Antonio, right? God damn, I feel bad now.
There's like three or four.
There's three Joneses. There's three Joneses.
You're thinking of Tyus.
No. I believe I'm thinking of Tyus.
Yeah, Tyus is with the Wizards right now playing.
I think that I get a lot of Tyus Jones out of Kolek. He is a really good backup point guard. He can run an offense efficiently. He is a good enough shooter to keep teams honest on him. He plays with a grit to him. Like he has like a toughness there, but also pretty smart player. Obviously that offense that Marquette ran with him and Oso Ighodaro being the two linchpins of how that ran. I absolutely love Cam. I think he's a stud. I'm shocked he didn't come out this year, but he's going to be a star next year. They were one of the best offenses in college basketball, not named UConn, but they ran some of the best pick and roll sets. So he's heavily prepared. He's an upperclassman. He should be able to step in the NBA tomorrow and play 10, 15 minutes a night for you. No problem. Pick up a playbook like that. Like that's my expectations of Tyler Kolek. He could be more, but I just see him as like probably the best backup point guard of this draft class. Like day one, you pick him 20 to 30. He is that team's backup point guard tomorrow. Like for the Bucks, instantly backup point guard, nailed it. Nuggets, same thing.
Quick game for you. This is very off topic of Tyler Kolek. Sure. Murray, White, Holiday. Who do you think has the largest wingspan?
DeJounte.
Of the three of them? DeJounte. How big do you think?
I think it's 6'11" and a half.
6'10" is what Google says. Who's got the second largest, White or Holiday?
Holiday.
Holiday's got the smallest by half an inch.
Okay, still
6'7" for Holiday, 6'7.5" for White.
See, that's what I mean. Like 6'7" is for a guard is great. That's why Devin Carter at 6'8" and 3/4 is like. That's why I see Devin Carter as like that dude who we're all overlooking. Yeah. And I really that's why I'm so keyed in on him. I fell in love with this game watching him at Providence. And yeah, Combine was great. His workouts were solid. Everything about his game just screams like this guy is being undervalued. He should be a top 10 pick, if not like that, like 3 through 7 range. So I think Kolek though, plug and play backup point guard day one for the next 7 years in the NBA. I wouldn't even blink. Like that's he's going to be worth his money in this draft class for the 8th time this episode in the draft class of mystery boxes. You know exactly what you're getting with Tyler Kolek. So
we're going to play a game, Dave. And I got to tell the viewers, you actually came up with this game, even though you're the participant and I'm the host of this game. This is a Dave brainchild. I'm basically going to go down the NBA draft order. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to each team that fanspo. So this is how we're doing this. So if you have a gripe with, that team doesn't really need a point guard, go to Fanspo.
Okay.
Don't
quit mocking me because that's me.
Don't come to me. It's Fanspo, not me.
Yeah,
we got to have some barometer. And the ringer. The ringer doesn't give needs on position. They give needs on, hey, they need this, this, and this, and it's like, great. What position am I getting from that? It's like they need like lateral quickness and defense, and it's like, well, lateral quickness. Do they need it from the center or from the point guard? Like what? Like Fanspo at least gives us position. So What I'm doing is every team that is listed as a severe need at point guard, you are going to tell me who would be the best point guard prospect for them to draft. Once you use a guy, he's gone, because I'm going in order of the draft. So once if you say Stephon Castle for the first team, you can't use him for any other team.
And I'm glad you mentioned Stephon Castle, because like he is.
We haven't mentioned it.
Theoretical point guard.
Yeah, that's why threw that.
He says he's a point guard in his interviews, and by that law, we're going to try to place him as a point guard. I don't know if he will be a point guard in the NBA. He could be. Could be a boat.
So the first team, Dave.
Yep.
The Washington Wizards at
so 2. Easy. Come on, it's so easy. It's Nikola Topic. Like,
okay.
They took Bilal Coulibaly. They've got Deni Avdija. Like, this is just the European connection part 3. Actually, they also have, oh my God, they took a 7-footer or 6'11" kid last year from Europe who can shoot. He came over 3/4 of the way through the season. He's just a sniper. He's basically like a 7-footer who can't, actually play any interior defense. He's Ryan Anderson, but European in like 20. Whatever. It's going to bug me. But yes, it's Nikola Topic here. He succeeds there because I'm honestly thinking that like having someone who can run an offense not named Jordan Poole is their best option. He had an abysmal year. By giving them Nikola Topic, someone who breaks down defenses and goes downhill, can start getting that great usage out of the spacing that guys like Denny, Kuzma, Poole can start abusing. So I think he is a essential building block to this team. Love his fit. I think that he fits the theme. I don't want to be that lazy guy who like every Spurs pick, you're getting a European player, but like the Wizards sure have taken European players in the last couple of years. So you have to just acknowledge.
The Rockets at number 3. They are also a severe point guard.
Yeah. Fred VanVleet and $40 million. And then you took Amen Thompson, and he might be a point guard at some point, but he's a damn good wing today. The Rockets have 2 things going for them. They have an absurd amount of athleticism on the wing, and they lack rim protection. So I'm hesitant to put a guy who's going to get blown by because of that lack of rim protection Şengün does not provide. Which a lot of people say Reed Sheppard, because it's just the easiest possible fit for him, because look, he's basically Fred VanVleet too. He's younger, he's more athletic, he's a better shooter, and he kind of plays a similar style of like, he will be happy to take those open threes. As I look through the rest of the guys on my list, though, like Ime Udoka, I'm trying to think who's Ime gonna want in a 2-man game with Şengün.
Who's Ime's guy?
And you've already got to deal with the fact that JG4 does not play the best defense. We'll be nice today. I think
best defense.
See, it's different because like who I think they would take versus who they'll actually take.
No. This is who you think is the best pick.
This is where they're going to succeed.
Them.
This is how they're going to succeed in the NBA.
This is the best point guard for them at that pick.
I'm gonna take Devin Carter. I've been talking about, maybe I'm just feeling the episode, but I really like Devin Carter here. Because again,
maybe I'm just feeling the episode as well.
No. I talked him up a bunch already, but like Ime Udoka's identity is defense, and a 2-man game with Devin Carter out there would work really well. I like his size for his position, even though he's not the tallest. Like I said, he's got that near 6'9" wingspan, because they're hella switchable over there. I mean, just you've got a couple guys who don't play a whole lot of defense, but everybody else out there is more than making up for it. That's the thought. That's the goal. That's the directive that Ime is throwing down. So I'm afraid of putting someone like Rob Dillingham there, who, while he would be able to get some looks, if I had Dillingham and Green out there together, we're giving up 150 a night. We can't. Like, we'd be worse than the Pacers defensively. That's not how you win basketball games. So as much as I love the scoring potential, opportunities, and the Reed Sheppard thing is super close, but I just I think that Ime, that system, the way they're building that roster out, might be a reach. Don't care, because looking back, if you get the best player at the time, this is where I think he would succeed. I think he'd kill it in Houston.
Well, the next team after the Rockets, I believe, pick right after them. The Spurs are listed as a severe need also.
This is Reed Sheppard's home. This is where you put Reed Sheppard, because you have the best rim protector outside of Rudy Gobert, and Rudy Gobert might be being passed up already by Victor. And it's just, there's no better rim protector.
How many years until Victor wins Defensive Player of the Year?
Next year. Okay. It's next year. Rudy's great. Rudy's an all-time defensive player of the year 3 times now. Probably should have won it 5 easily. But Victor's just insane. I mean, he's a different thing out there. I don't know how to categorize the level of impact that he puts on the court, because all the metrics are hilarious. Like, just him being on the court, the amount of drives goes down. Like, people don't want to challenge that. But then he gets people who are dumb enough to try to challenge that. And it's great to watch him try. Reed Sheppard's deficiencies are covered up by the fact that you have Victor behind you, and he gives that team space that they desperately need. He's a nice upgrade over Trey Jones, and the shot is just going to be so valuable for them to have someone other than Devin Vassell who can shoot threes for you. Great secondary possession guy. Secondary facilitator, because you model that off of something that, like, they were like, let's get the ball in Victor's hands as much as possible to end the year out. Obviously, what we're seeing with Embiid, what we saw with Jokic, we're seeing bigs who have the ability to create for others, and having someone like Reed Sheppard be his Jamal Murray, I think, is what they're trying to do. They really want to set that team up for success. They want to create the best looks possible. You got to have deadly snipers from the outside if you're going to do that. So I think that Reed Sheppard on the Spurs is a slam dunk.
Pistons, who are yet again at 5 right after the Spurs.
The Pistons are an interesting one because they have Jaden Ivey, they have Cade Cunningham, they have Sasser. I respect Sasser.
They don't have Killian Hayes anymore, Dave.
They did lose Killian Hayes, which is a big blow to the
they don't have Alec Burks anymore.
I think that they could use a point guard here. I don't know it's necessarily the biggest need, but they do need someone who can shoot the ball, because they have Asar Thompson on the team who is legendarily not a shooter. Beef Stew tries his best, damn it. He really does. So I won't hear the slander. Duran's not anywhere close to stretching the floor yet. So
can I give a suggestion?
I'm open for it.
This is where McCain goes.
Okay, so
3-point shooter, can shoot the ball.
He can.
He's not dead-eye shooting, but like, you're adding shooting to that team.
Right. My only thought, or my only concern there is I don't know if anyone outside of Cade Cunningham, if Cade Cunningham is a guy to build around. And I know it sounds incredibly mean because he was a former number 1 overall pick. He was, he's been the guy for forever, but he's also sort of never been able to string together a healthy, happy season. He's getting better as a player, don't get me wrong, but like, I still don't know if there's that it factor to him being able to string it together with a healthy season, leading to winning games. He had some amazing stretches this year. But if I'm me, and I'm me, I kind of think Rob Dillingham is the fit here. I think that Dillingham gives you that electricity. He is the guy who puts the people in seats. He's the guy who puts this ball in the bucket. I think that the energy he throws into an offense and the ability to create for himself is awesome. I think he can create for others at a decent rate too. Obviously, Kentucky had 4 guards in that backcourt who were all splitting time and not all deserving of time. And I've ranted about that far too many times, so I'm not going to get too into it.
Not all deserving of time.
What can I say? But Rob Dillingham on the Pistons, I think there might be some, potential concerns with like, well, what happens to Jaden Ivey? And my answer is I don't care about Jaden Ivey. I didn't like him going into the draft as like a 1A guy. I always thought that like his role in the NBA was not going to be super well defined because he's gotten better, but he's not a knockdown shooter. He's done some things to improve his outside shot. He's done some things to try to improve his off-ball game. but he's just not good enough. And I think that Rob Dillingham has the opportunity to be like that Darius Garland level guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a slightly worse passer, but a much better shooter coming into the league. So I expect Dillingham to like hit the ground running as far as scoring is concerned. Like he's a guy who can probably come in on a team like Detroit, put up like 16 a game.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, he is a weapon out there. So I think that if there's a way to succeed in Detroit, I think Dillingham gives them the best combination of like he has a crazy high upside offensively, and he's a good passer, and he's someone who obviously you're gonna have to work on the defense with, but like he's someone who has the opportunity to become like a 1A, like the guy on a team.
Yeah.
And I think that not to knock Cade, I think that's kind of up for grabs right now.
I mean, hey, there's been I've seen some discussions among Piston boards that is Cade the guy moving forward? So people are asking it.
Yeah.
We got to move on though, Dave, because there's a lot. There's a lot just to say it. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more teams that have severe point guard needs, according to Fanspo.
But upside, this class is sneaky deep at point guard or guard with like an asterisk.
Deceptively
deep.
The next team though you're gonna pick for is the Toronto Raptors.
Oh. Toronto,
north of the border there, Dave.
Why can't I find Toronto?
I believe it's right after the Pelicans. Or not Pelicans, Pistons.
Huh?
Aren't they right after the
What number?
I believe it's, let me see. I'm pulling up.
Why is my spreadsheet so garbage?
I don't know.
19.
Seems like you.
Toronto is 19.
Oh, that's right. No, they're out of order because I have the Spurs down there. So the next team is not the Raptors. Okay. It is the Jazz.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Jazz is interesting because I truly believe Keontae George is their point guard. I don't think they have a super deep need because they have Chris Dunn as the backup. I think he did a great job. He's reinvented himself in his career. So at 10, I don't love the idea of taking a point guard for them. But because there's someone who's not quite a point guard, but thinks he's a point guard, if Castle's available here, that would be a steal for them. I don't know that he will be there, but in this theoretical mock of point guards or guard plus asterisk, I'm going to put Castle here. Positional size is a plus. He's 6'6", good wingspan, solid weight to him. He has good defensive IQ. In college, he was able to guard the best wings on most teams. And he played into the system because he could funnel to, guess what? Clayton Kong behind him. Yeah. No worries. So, like, he knows how to use guys. And guess what? Utah, I know they don't love him, but you have Walker Kessler back there.
For some reason, they just refuse to play him.
Similar shot blocking profiles. Kessler actually had a crazy higher shot block percentage than Klingon, but Klingon dropped like, I forgot what it was. The percentage of field goals when Klingon's on the floor was like 42% or 40. It was just insanely low. It's just like him being on the floor meant the whole team shot worse, you know? Yeah. So I like the idea. If Castle is available, obviously at 10, some people might think Castle will be gone. This is a hypothetical point guard draft. We're putting Castle at 10 to Utah because he can cover 1 through 3 for them. He's switchable. He is a smart guy. And I think that he's got a whole bunch of room to improve. As he adds to his shot, gets more confidence in that 3-point shot, he's going to be a weapon out there for them. 10. Castle.
11. It looks like they're saying, Bulls need a point guard. I'm assuming because they just assume Lonzo's never going to play. But if the Bulls go point guard at 11, who's the one?
I so disagree with this just being a thing.
I know, because Lonzo's going to be back. Knock on wood.
Lonzo will be on our team. Kobe White, I would assume.
I pulled it out on the Wrecking Crew. I got to pull it out from my stuff here. My wooden box. Got to knock on wood that Lonzo's going to be back. But go ahead.
Yep. I think that we've got guys there. I would prefer to draft someone above the height of 6'7", That's just me, crazy. Devin Carter, if he were available, would be my guy because guess what? He rebounds. We suck at rebounding. That would be a perfect fit. He could learn from Caruso for a year before we trade him or he leaves us. But in this hypothetical mock, he's gone. So on my big board, I've got the selection of McCain, KJ, Kolek, Bub, Reese, Collier, Juan Nunez, Tristan Newton.
Dave, you're going to complete the mock? Every mock has Collier being the point guard we take.
I would bounce my head off the table until I passed out if we took Isaiah Collier. I'll do that on the show, actually. As a man with several concussions already, I'll just sign myself up for another one.
I was going to say, wouldn't you get brain damage before the knocking out?
It's kind of a toss-up at this point, Ricky, but it's a game I'm willing to play.
Please don't.
I really do not like Isaiah Collier as a pick.
Please don't let us draft Collier. That's going to be
really don't like Isaiah Collier as a pick to the Bulls. But you know what I do love? KJ Simpson.
Yeah, you do.
I really like KJ Simpson. I think that he had a fantastic combine, really good workouts. He was one of the best performers in the scrimmages. Scrimmages, for those who don't watch, are kind of a fun thing because it's like these guys have no rapport with each other. So you're just getting guys who are just trying to make the best out of like a pickup game, the most high intensity pickup game under the highest level of scrutiny with NBA scouts and front office members and all this pressure. And it's just like the worst, sloppiest basketball you could possibly imagine. Yeah. But what KJ could do is he can get buckets for himself. He can facilitate and get other guys shots. Obviously him, De Silva, Cody Williams together at Colorado had a great year this year. So he knows how to run with guys who are NBA level talent already. He's an upperclassman. Again, you know what you're getting out of him, and he's added to his game. His shot is really good from three right now. So little undersized, great bench guard, though. I think he's got upside to him. I think KJ Simpson's kind of the guy who I would really key in on as if the Bulls are looking for someone to run that second unit, give me KJ.
Up next, we're going Sixers, which would be the 16th pick.
16th pick.
We're jumping down to 16 with the Sixers.
Normally,
this is pretty much a backup point guard because Maxey, obviously.
Yeah, and the only concern there is like you already got Maxey. So do you want a complimentary piece, or do you want someone who you try to make the drop off as little as possible when he's on the court, like off the court?
They need somebody to run the side. I only know this because watching more Sixers games with Jake. Yeah. Jake, you could disagree with me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Kyle Lowry's not coming back.
But Kyle Lowry can't run the second unit all the
Kyle Lowry's
they need someone to be the second unit guy so Maxey can get rest.
Yeah. But does that person need to score is my question to you.
Depends. Toby's going to be gone. Toby played with the second unit a lot. Like Kelly
Toby didn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Toby didn't even exist.
He's going to be gone. So are they going to bring in someone who could be like who's going to be a scorer? That's
are they going to be able to re-sign Oubre?
Yeah. Are they going to be able to re-sign Oubre? He played with the second unit a lot too.
He was their scoring punch, and they got him for like $1 million. And I don't know. I think he might earn a little bit more than that after this season.
I mean, that's the thing. Like the second unit for them is questioned because what they're going to bring in, but they still need someone to run said second unit who's not Maxey.
I feel like they're in such a win now situation. I don't want to draft a project for them. And like, who would work best with that team? Ugh, fudge. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm just going to go Jared McCain. I know what he is. I know what he can do. And let's get buckets. It successfully score against high caliber defenders like he showed at Duke. I think McCain is kind of the guy who, as much as I don't love the idea of him and Maxey next to each other being maybe the best pairing, I think that he can succeed, especially if he runs those like Maxey's off the court, but Embiid's on the court. Like he would thrive there with that setup. Can you imagine Embiid kicking out to him, the pick and pops? Oh, just give me Jared McCain here. Yeah, I like that. I actually like that a lot. I talk myself into a situation where I'm like, that's good. That's good
now
stuff.
I should have done this with the Spurs But I feel like you would have still taken a point guard first and taken that Reed Sheppard pick where it was. With the Pelicans, because they have 2 first-round picks, do you want them to make... Right now, they have 2. They have 17 and 21.
So 17, they have the option to defer and get a pick from the Lakers at a later date, which makes sense if you think the Lakers are going to lose.
At this moment, though, in time as we're recording, they have 17. But my question to you is...
Technically, the Lakers on 17. Whatever.
My question is, do you want to make this pick at 17, or do you want them to make the pick for the point guard at 21? You have the choice. It's your mock.
I don't think they keep 17.
Okay.
So let's say
we're going to move on to 18 then. Yeah, we're going to move on to 18 then, the Magic.
Are the Lakers not a point guard needy team?
No, they're not. They are not a point guard. They are not a severe point guard team. That moves us to the
Magic.
Are you sure?
Because I feel like I get the perfect point guard for the Lakers.
The Magic at 18.
the Lakers at 17.
Lakers are not on the list, Dave.
LeBron James personally would like to play with at 17.
Yeah, just not on the list.
Oh damn!
What did they have him listed at? Because I know it's not severe.
50,
okay. So for the Lakers, both guard positions and power forward are low. Small forward is high. Center is severe.
They're insane. Did they not just watch D'Lo in the playoffs? I mean, trying to put any rookie in that situation is asking for pain. But
the Magic at 18.
Okay, let's pretend we're the Orlando Magic at 18. We sure love our measurements, which is why I think Bub Carrington is the guy.
Okay.
I think he is a big guard. I think he's like 6'5". Measured in well. He had like an up and down season. Like he beat the piss out of like bad teams. I mean, to start the year, he had like a triple double. He was just non-conference play, just a bunch of that's what he went through. Kind of like he was so good. But then the season went on. He had some struggles. He had some shooting struggles. Pitt actually kind of moved over point guard position to somebody else, and he was more of an off-ball guard, but still did some point guard. Maybe I'll say combo. He was a combo guard for them as the season went on. But I still think there's the upside. I think he's just young. He's I think the second youngest player in the draft class.
Okay.
So a ton of upside, good measurables. Can score, can defend. No, he can't defend. He can try to defend. There's the hope for defense in the future for him. But I think he ticks a lot of the boxes.
No, wait. He thinks about defending. No, wait.
I think
he fakes to fake
I
defend.
think he could defend. I think he can defend in the NBA at some point. Okay. I don't think he'll come in as a strong defender. But again, his physical profile means he has the potential to defend. So I like him there because it fits the Magic. It fits what they need. And it fits the organizational drafting scheme too. So yeah, I think it kind of ticks all 3 boxes in my mind. I think he could succeed there because they need a real point guard on that roster. Fultz has never been healthy for them as much as I every year get my hopes up for Markelle Fultz. Every single year I give him like the same thing. I love injured players. It's what I do. But he ain't it. Suggs had a fantastic year, all defensive second team. Love it. His shot came around. Like he has just improved just so much. But I think that like that would actually be a great pairing is, Bub Carrington and Suggs in the backcourt. Oh, yes. Feed that to me.
Now we get to 19, the Raptors.
So, unfortunately, I don't have anybody who's like 6'7" left on my board who plays point guard for the Raptors. I feel like that's kind of what they would normally do.
Yeah.
So, next best thing is Isaiah Collier. He's 6. I know he measured it.
I thought you hated Isaiah Collier, Dave.
I don't love Isaiah Collier, but he is physically impressive at the guard position. He is a bully ball kind of player. I think that he isn't my cup of tea as a point guard, but I think that Toronto values like size on the court. They like running with bigger players across the board. Obviously, they've got some decision to make with how much they're going to pay IQ this offseason. But having someone who can create contact, go to the hole, and finish strong, even though he's, the shots definitely got a lot of work. He's got a lot of work to do on the shot. from the outside. But he's a bowling ball. The man is strong.
So, we're running into a problem here.
Oh yeah,
we're running out of time.
Let's go. I'll speed run.
So these are the playoff teams. We're doing speed run for the playoff teams.
You got it.
Suns.
Tyler Kolek.
Just the easiest pick. So you got the Suns, Tyler Kolek, the Celtics.
Boston Celtics. Shoot.
Last first round pick, by the way. This is number 30.
Yep. Bronny James would be hilarious.
A lot of people have him getting mocked here.
Yeah, I think that if he doesn't go in the first round, he has to go undrafted or to 55 to the Lakers. So I feel like if you're going to take someone here, Bronny James is the funniest upside guy. Truly, though, I would love to see them go for someone like Reese Beekman.
Okay.
I like Reese Beekman a lot out of Virginia. He's a dog on defense.
So who's the one you're taking, Bronny or
it's Reese Beekman? Reese. Okay. Reese is my guy. I love his defense. He's so good. And he played on such an anemic team offensively that like it made him look worse almost because Ryan Dunn couldn't hit the side of a backboard. I'm sorry. He probably did hit the side of a backboard a bunch of shot attempts. He didn't get it in, but that's where the ball ended up going. So, yeah, I think that him on a team like that, perfect learning situation for him.
The Pacers. Now we're in the second round. Pacers at 36. Are they taking a point guard or deferring?
They got a bunch of guards.
Or are they deferring to 49.50? Pacers are listed as severe, baby.
They have TJ McConnell, Tyrese Halliburton.
I think TJ might be a free agent.
They still have Nembhard and Halliburton and Ben Sheppard.
I know Ben Sheppard's like a two-guard. I'll make the rules. They have the Pacers as severe.
Okay. Jamal Shed.
Okay.
They're taking Jamal Shed because they need some defense. If you're going to lose on Halliburton, you put Jamal Shed back there.
The Clippers.
The Clippers would take Tristan Newton because you can't put Bronny James in the same building. No, wait, they're New Arena. I take it back.
Could you imagine if the Clippers were the ones to say, screw it, we're going to take Bronny?
That'd be evil. I think Tristan Newton. He was a great point guard for UConn this year. One of the better rebounding guards in the class. A lot of hustle, decent enough shot. He's an older player, so yeah, I think that he kind of fits well for the Clippers.
Last one, number 52 overall, the Warriors.
Sure. I mean, that one is Bronny James. That one I do think because LeBron wants to play with Steph. I think that's the if we see Bronny James taken by the Golden State Warriors, you see an Andrew Wiggins trade to the Warriors. You see an Andrew Wiggins trade or a Klay Thompson trade to the Warriors. To the Lakers.
Well, that would be ironic for Klay Thompson because LeBron would go get to play with Steph and his son. Klay Thompson goes to play where his dad was an NBA pro.
Exactly.
I think Klay Thompson loses out on this deal, Dave.
Oh yeah. But we as fans win.
Why do I lose? I don't get a ring also? Send Wiggins away.
He would hold up his hand because Klay loves to tell people how many rings he's got. That's Klay Thompson's only move. I truly think that would be the best situation is playing on the Warriors in the most free flowing offense, and LeBron James is going to be there too. That's the dream, baby.
Well, Dave, we're getting really close to the end, so this is going to be a speed-run outro. Remember, everything down below. Discord, Patreon, if you want to support us. Our socials are down there. BETUS, get your sign-up bonus down below. Hit that comment section. Let us know what you guys think of the point guards. Who's your best point guard? Play the game. Let us know all the teams we did in order. Who would you be? What would your order be for the point guards? Let us know down below. Thank you to Dave. Another great podcast. We'll be back in 2 weeks for another one. Thank you to everyone for watching and listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody. I didn't know if you were going to wave or not. That's why
I didn't feel it today.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.